Like what we're doing here at cubefortwo? Hit that like and subscribe button to let us know. Alright guys, let's get started. What's good, cubers? It's your boy Matt. We got a special video today, but before I begin, I should start by saying that if you run power in your cube, this video is not for you, and that despite the argument I'm going to put forth, if you and your group are happy with your cube environment, that's fine too. Feel free to ignore my advice. Today we're going to discuss a change that my playgroup has made and why we made it, and how your group can perhaps benefit from it as well, and it all starts with War of the Spark Limited. During War of the Spark Limited, I noticed that if my opponents resolved a God Eternal on the battlefield, they were very likely to win. In fact, Oketra stood out to me as the worst offender. Its 6 toughness meant that it beat the best spot removal at common, and because of its ability to make tokens, it dodged all edict-based removal as well. The god is almost impossible to get rid of, and if you accomplish it, then Oketra returns anyway thanks to her Tuck It 3 Deep ability. If we imagine the card pool of War of the Spark as a pyramid, then Oketra is placed squarely at the top of this pyramid in comparison to other cards in her limited environment. This creates an imbalanced gameplay. Therefore, resolving Oketra means I win. I know you're wondering how this applies in Cube, but in Cube there is this tendency, and in new to cubes in particular, to do powerful things even in unpowered environments, and that leads to players including cards that are more powerful than they should be, the most common offenders of which are Soul Ring, Channel, and Tinker. This is due, I think, in no small part to their price. I mean, Soul Ring has been reprinted into the ground, so everybody's got a copy. However, these cards frequently lead to imbalanced gameplay. Channel, for instance, allows players to turn to Ulamog, a nearly unanswerable threat that ends the game. And while you might think powering down your top-end threats will prevent this problem, I would argue that a turn 2 Steel Hellkite still represents a similar problem. Tinker can also represent this kind of gameplay, whether it is summoning the aforementioned Hellkite or whether it's a Worm Coil engine. Each of these cards force players into a scenario that says, do you have Force of Will or another answer like it in hand right now? No? Well, good game then. Soul Ring might seem like the less obvious offender to the untrained eye. However, a turn 1 Soul Ring jumps players ahead on curve and can lead to such busted play as turn 2 Jace or Thrun. And while these threats might seem answerable, which they aren't easily, remember that Soul Ring is not a one-time use card like Tinker or Channel, and this means on turn 2 you can cast a 4-drop, and on turn 3 you can cast a 5-drop, and so on. And while an opponent might be able to answer the first threat, they most likely cannot answer these threats when cast in succession. When we evaluate these cards in our pyramid, but this time equate our pyramid to cube, like Oketra, they are far and away better than the rest of the cube's draft pool. My argument is that we should intentionally choose not to play these cards and to instead play at a more even power level to create more balanced games with less instances of, I resolve this card so I win. Channel, Soul Ring, and Tinker are not the only offenders here. Cards like Mana Drain, Mind Twist, Mana Crypt, Blightsteel Colossus, Emrakul, even True Name Nemesis, along with lots of others, can be argued at being too strong for traditional unpowered cubes. As another point, let's discuss the rock, paper, scissors of Magic the Gathering. Aggro is necessary to keep control decks in check. Mid-range beats aggro, and control beats mid-range. But Channel and Tinker aren't either of these. They're combo cards, and when combo is healthy and fast, more fair strategies, mid-range especially, cannot exist, and the speed of the combo matters greatly here. This is why Tinker and Channel are so high-powered and considered unfair Magic. But if we eliminate these types of one-card combo decks, much like unstopping a dam, many other archetypes can flow into your format, such as Rakdos Sacrifice, Dimir Reanimator, Gruul Stompy, Simic Flash, Sneak Attack, and so many others. But if you still aren't convinced, let me show you the primary reason my playgroup decided to remove these cards. Let's do a pack 1 pick 1. Now, there are several really strong cards in this pack. Baby Jace seems a solid first pick, as does Winter Orb, or Overgrown Tomb, Birds, even Ultimate Price. However, choosing these cards is a mistake. Instead, you must pick Soul Ring. Objectively, any other choice is incorrect. you have to choose it because it will A, make your deck better, and B, you don't want the drafter to your left to have it. Essentially, powerful cards like Soul Ring reduce choice in draft. My playgroup loved first picking Soul Ring when our cube was first built, but after many drafts they resented it because they could not draft the other cards that they were more interested in, since Soul Ring and cards like it demand being drafted above all else. However, if you still want to play Soul Ring, Tinker, and the like, let me make one final suggestion to you. Play everything? The Power 9, Library of Alexandria, Mana Crypt, everything. Make sure your cube is a full-on vintage cube, and this way, there is a higher density of playables at that high power level that all the drafters will then have a shot at them. Now, this will greatly reduce the number of, quote, fair decks that exist in your cube, but in the end, cube is about what makes you and your playgroup happy. Which also means, if you think I'm wrong, live your truth. Play that Tinker on turn 2. I can only say my playgroup has been much happier without them. Well, that's going to do it for today, Cubers. Hope you enjoyed the content. If there's something you want us to talk about or evaluate or discuss, feel free to leave it in the comments below. We'll take a look at it. Follow us on the Twitter, like, subscribe, do all the things, and as always and until next time, shuffle up and keep cubing, my friends.